Arduino Aquaponics video 1. This is a grow bed. Currently have some plants just for testing. Pay no attention to those. So the fill area, that's the disperser and buffer. The control and the magic is in here. There's a bunch of gold. There's about 30 goldfish in here. Eventually it'll be tilapia, but right now I'm using them as test subjects. It's 275 gallon tote. What will happen is this pump, which is controlled by the Arduino by a relay, will come on, pump it through here, which will pump down and in there. The water hits to a certain height about right there, and it raises into there, and will start a siphon. I will show you guys. Siphons all the way in there, starts feeding in there. Solids and other stuff gets sucked into there through a swirl chamber. And this will dispense through the sides, so it's always at a certain level. Disperses kind of evenly throughout the thing. There's a bell siphon once it gets to a certain height. You actually see it in there. And we'll get to a certain height, and then bell siphon will suck and siphon it down through that little hole. You can actually see it down there. Back into this thing. Plumbing system over here. The Arduino set up right here. I'm going to put a seal around it. You can see it's displaying humidity through DHT11. I'm going to take that and eventually put it outside. Right now it's just in there so I can get a variable and see if it was working. So currently I got a push button that will force it. This is an alarm system kind of thing. It'll come on 7 times a day, about 3-hour intervals. I'm going to glue that. And then I have a force button which will push it and force the pump to come on. I'm going to do that now. Jaden, if you can go ahead and push that.
Okay.
Go ahead and push the button. It's set to a 30-second interval, so you don't have to push it more than once now. Push it. It's a very strong, powerful pump. Why did it not focus? You can see it. The fish love it actually when this happens. You can actually see them sometimes on the side run to it. Should look like you see it's now sucked all the water out of there. It's past a certain area, so it's going to start siphoning. You can see the siphon now. It starts out slow as it's sucking into the top layer, but as it starts pushing and sucking to the bottom, you'll see this thing start really pushing. Had some fish get sucked through there, so I fixed that. There's actually a net down in there now. Oh, here we go. There we go. That siphon basically sucks up fish poop up through a tube that's actually in there. It comes up right here. So any fish that's in the bottom, that will stir it up and then suck it up really quickly. So. They cut more holes into that. Oh, Jaden.
Yeah.
Nice. The bell cycle, you can actually see down in there. Eventually, that thing is, we're going to put strawberry towers lining this area, and it will feed right back into the top part of that. I want them hanging, kind of. That way you get plenty of room over here. And I have plenty of expansion on this side. It's a tree that we got. I don't know if it's going to make it, so put it in here. Currently, these things, if you see, this is that thing you buy at Clean Harbor. It's an automatic thing. When the temperature opens, it gets hot, it opens. These are garbage. Don't buy these. Eventually I'm going to change it out and put a mechanical system and I'll close it. Just these two right here. The other two I'm going to close indefinitely. Hey puppy. As you can see, it's down a layer, so the top part, the one over here, actually has a hole on that side, and it breaks the siphon when it gets to a certain level. Once it breaks the siphon, it'll eventually get to a certain point. I have a system. You can see this thing right here actually is make sure that the water level is always. Eventually I'm going to put a filter in there, and I have to put an auto adjust height on it. Right now I just have a shim. But I'll show you if Jane move, because you know what happens. I have to fix this because I'll show you what happens when it gets to a certain height. Yeah, I can't have that. That's a little too aggressive. So I'll have it facing like a little 45-degree angle pushing down. Filter should remove some of the pressure off of it as well. You can hear the siphon, the bell siphon. Since it's a bell siphon, all the water that's in there is going to get sucked out and pushed into this thing. There it will sit for 3 hours until the pump or the Arduino tells the pump to come on, and it's controlled by that. The Arduino sends power to that system right there. So I can have actually two things during a time. But it'll start, blam, blam, pump, push in there, but that only comes on every 3 hours. There's a mist system in here that'll be controlled later. I'm going to add more features right here, the whole system. But I have a full plumbing system in here, full electrical system. And so far, that's it. Only issue I have to figure out now is I got to get this cleared. I got this water cleared. Put a barley bale in there. That didn't seem to work or fix anything. Any suggestion would help. I'm hoping that as it's circulating and removing nitrogens and stuff from the system once I get plants in here, that it'll clear up. But any suggestions on how to clear that mucky up would be helpful. Thanks. It's the first video.